I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is somewhat ominous, and that is because the title is A Shot Across the Bow. And what that alludes to is some sort of warning that may have to be given this week in response to a full moon total lunar eclipse that we had 2 days ago at 25 degrees of Libra. Now, Libra rules peace, so why would we have to issue some sort of warning right now? Because Mars, that planet of war and aggression and passion, was also in the sign of Libra, and that simply means that there can be quite a bit of heightened anger right now about a partnership. There could be a breakup, or there may be something happening that is against the law, since Libra does rule the law, or there can be some kind of contract that is canceled. And that might be because somebody is willing to break the law, or they can be so passionate about something that they suddenly erupt and create quite a bit of danger for other people, and that is certainly possible. And that is because under that lunar eclipse, which was extremely unstable, there were 7 planets in the cardinal signs all squaring and opposing each other. 7 out of the 10 planets were so harshly aspecting each other that I don't believe that we are going to go back to normal. We're not going to go back to the way things used to be. In fact, we're not really going to recover from this lunar eclipse. Things are going to be changed, and we are going to have to try to get along. But with 7 planets opposing and squaring each other, nobody wants to give in and nobody wants to compromise. So the problem is there's too much pressure right now. Libra rules balance, but the moon rules our emotions, and Mars does rule passion and aggression. They're both in the sign of peace, so I don't think there's going to be any peace because our emotions can be very stirred up. So the Mars and the moon, full moon, were being opposed by the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus, that planet of sudden change, in Aries. So those 5 planets were certainly going at it, and that could create quite a bit of pressure between somebody who wants to do everything their own way and wants to start off in a new direction, or wants to rebel, since Uranus does rule rebellion and it does rule freedom. And yet other people are saying, wait a minute, on a second review or on looking things over, something is unlawful and you are going to be held accountable for that. So that wouldn't go over. So these 2 ways of thinking are completely different, and that they are not able to be reconciled right now because these 5 planets are also being squared by Jupiter in Cancer, and they're also being squared by Pluto in Capricorn. And so there can be family pressures or problems with real estate, and there can be pressure from budget cuts, or there can be a great threat to long-term security right now, because Capricorn rules pension plans, and it does rule old age, and it rules management with Pluto there in large government agencies and corporations. So it's quite possible that somebody who is the head of something can be saying to others who might be wanting to break the law or might be wanting to rebel, no, you can't do that because it's unlawful. And so if nobody is going to listen to anybody else because these 7 planets are all in such harsh aspect, then somebody is going to have to fire a shot across the bow of somebody else who's trying to be an aggressor right now, because the law itself will be aggressively reasserted. It will be reviewed. The reason why is because there are 3 retrograde planets right now, and they're all associated with Scorpio in one way or another, and Scorpio rules war, it rules Russia, and it rules finances, since it's a fixed financial sign. So it rules credit, taxes, loans, inheritance, grants, insurance companies, and money coming from any other resource. And so what we've got right now is that Mars is retrograde in Libra, Saturn is retrograde in Scorpio, and Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn. Mars and Pluto are exactly squaring each other, and they are the rulers of Scorpio. And Saturn, which is in Scorpio, is going retrograde, and that means that there isn't going to be enough money. Saturn is a planet of restriction or scarce resources. So in the end, what it means is that if somebody is going to have to be told to stop something, or they are going to rebel and break away, or there could be a canceled contract, or there is something happening that's against the law, then I think that it could amount to some sort of act of aggression that could constitute the precursor to war. And if that happens and somebody does not listen, then we would sort of be on another level, and that is why we really have to be careful in our emotions. We also have to keep ourselves under control, because this is a time of danger, and because someone is going to be held accountable for things that had been done in the past. Okay, it's not like you can change something. It's not like spin is going to work right now. Nothing is going to work except adhering to the law, because since those planets are retrograde and one of them is Mars in Libra, it means people are going to go back and review the law again. And on a second review, they may decide something is unlawful, and therefore they're going to hold people accountable for actions that have already occurred. And if they are accountable for their past actions and they don't like it, then they will have to be dealt with. And that is what we're facing right now. And that's why I don't think we are going to recover from so much pressure that is occurring among the heavens now. However, there is one really good aspect going on, and it is that there is a grand trine in water signs. The water signs are represented by Jupiter in Cancer, and it is trining both Venus and Neptune in Pisces, and together those three planets are trining that Saturn in Scorpio. And so this is simply a time when there can be quite a bit of sympathy for people behind the scenes who are less fortunate, and there can be ways, even secret ways, of helping people out right now, which is good. And so there is the possibility that something can look pretty bad on top, but there can be some reinforcement going on underneath, and that can mitigate a problem in one way or another, or at least it can draw people together, particularly families, in a sympathetic way so that we can help each other out. And so that's good. At least we understand who we really care about, or who we really love, and who we want to stick with. And so that is something that you can really count on right now. But the problem is that we have to get back to the idea that the three retrograde planets are all associated with Scorpio, and Scorpio rules war, it rules Russia, and it rules finances. And what I think this really means is that somebody's war chest is either empty, in other words, there isn't as much money there as everybody thinks, or else it's got holes in it. And what I mean by holes in a war chest is that somebody could think that they've got a standing army that is well clothed and well fed and well paid for, but there has been so much corruption going on, that's the holes, that isn't true at all. And so a warning shot across somebody's bow is all anyone can afford. And I hope that that works, because if we can stop a bitter feud from escalating, then that would be at least helping perpetuate a little peace in the world. It's just that there's so much pressure right now, I don't think we're really going to recover. And people who have been doing something that is unlawful are going to be held accountable for it right now, and they may not like that. And that's why we all need to be extra careful this week. And in fact, an eclipse takes effect for 6 months, not just for a week. And that's why we need to be really careful. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think you certainly are involved, and in a reactionary way, with that full moon that occurred on Tuesday, because Mars and the moon were opposing the three planets in your sign. And remember, yours is a cardinal sign, so Jupiter was squaring your sun sign, and also Pluto was in Capricorn, and that simply means there's a lot of pressure on you right now, Aries, and there doesn't seem to be too much relief, and so you will be held accountable, particularly for some sort of partnership matter or contract or something that has to do with the law. And upon review, you could be held accountable in a way that you do not like at all, and therefore you are the one that might rebel and seek your freedom in one way or another. And I urge you to do that, Aries, because you're wonderful at new starts, and this is a great time for you to consider a new start, because I think a partnership is really over right now, Aries. And for that reason, if you're not leaving, somebody else is, and if they're not leaving right now, it will be in the next 6 months. And so you might be left high and dry anyway, and that is why you need to think about going in a new direction. It could also be that there are budget cuts that do affect you as well, or pressure from your family. So there's a lot on your plate right now, Aries, and I am just urging you to go with your strengths, and your strengths are starting over, and so I hope you consider it. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when I think that there's an awful lot going on in the background of your life, and that's because those 3 planets in Aries are getting hit right now with these squares and oppositions under the full moon in Libra 2 days ago. And so I think there can be quite a surprise, even a shocking surprise, happening to you behind the scenes, Taurus. Outwardly, there are not a lot of people that would expect that something so volatile is going on in your life, but I think it is. And so if the surprise isn't happening to you, and it could be shocking to you as well. In other words, if you had been not quite paying all your taxes, or if you had not been following the terms in a contract, suddenly you could be accountable. And if you had been already doing that, there is no way you can talk yourself out of it, and for that reason you may be faced with some sort of sudden change. And in fact, I'm pretty sure that is going to happen, Taurus, and you will have to make adjustments for that, but that's all right. In 2 weeks there's going to be a solar eclipse in your sign, and you are expected to make a new start anyway. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is simply a time when I don't think you're going to be hurt at all by that lunar eclipse, which was so volatile, because the moon and Mars do trine your sun sign, and that's good. It does mean, though, that since there is so much pressure, something's going to have to give, and there may be a warning shot fired over somebody's bow in order to get them to cease and desist, but it won't be you, Gemini. In fact, I think you're going to have extra work, because if somebody rebels and suddenly leaves, that may create a heavier workload for you, but you would have very energetic partners eager to help you out as well. So that is to the good. So I do think you sort of benefit from the trouble that's going on right now. Even though you didn't seek that out, it could happen to you, particularly if there's a canceled contract or a breakup. It could just sort of put you in the spotlight with help as well. And that could be very favorable for your future, Gemini. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, Cancer, the reason why you are involved in this is because not only is yours a cardinal sign, but it is also a water sign. And remember, I said there are 3 planets in water signs all trining each other. So on the basic foundation of your life, there are plenty of friends who are loyal to you and family members who adore you, Cancer. Lucky you. And financially, I don't think that you're being threatened, but you really are going to feel the effect or the fallout from this very volatile lunar eclipse. And that is because the moon, your own ruler, and Mars in Libra were squaring your sun, which means there can be a legal dispute or a partnership issue, or even the threat of a breakup or a contract cancellation. And that is going to be on your doorstep, Cancer. You'll have to deal with it in one way or another. And Jupiter in Capricorn is opposing your sun, meaning that the higher ups are making decisions, perhaps based on tighter budgets, that will not favor you, Cancer. And also, all the planets in Aries, 3 of them are squaring your sun, which means somebody is uncontrollable. And they simply don't want to listen to anybody, particularly not you. And so, Cancer, if I were you, I'd try to retire to the comfort of your home and your family and friends right now. That is where you're going to be happiest. But if you try to get out and encounter people and engage with them, I think that you could be in a little bit of trouble and you'd be unhappy. And that is why I'm saying try to sort of calm down right now and retreat if you can, Cancer. This is not the time to get in a fight with anybody. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, actually, I think you're going to benefit right now from the volatility that is and the pressure that is generated by this full moon lunar eclipse, and that is because Mars and the moon in Libra are sextiling your sun, meaning that anybody who is speaking up and saying that others are accountable to follow the law now and may even be responsible for a reversal of a decision can be opening a door for you or can be presenting you with additional opportunities that you can avail yourself of if you listen closely for opportunities. And all of the planets in Aries are trining your sun, which means there can be something sort of new on your horizon that could be headed straight for you, Leo. So this, in spite of all the trouble that this lunar eclipse is generating, that trouble could break up something that is stagnant, or else could reveal an imposter or somebody who simply can't stand the pressure and wants to leave, and you could benefit from an opening right now, quite a sudden one. So I think that you're going to sort of luck out as far as this eclipse goes, and I don't think you'll be hurt by it unless you have been breaking the law, in which case you would be accountable. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, all around you, you can be witnessing chaos or anger or frustration or pressure right now because that lunar eclipse with Mars and the moon in Libra were right ahead of your sun sign, Virgo. And so you can see people on the verge of a breakup or a divorce or some sort of legal dispute or some sort of contract cancellation. So you can see that and be a witness to it, but this is a very good time for you to quietly observe what is going on and step back, Virgo. Try to stay in the shadows right now and not make yourself a target, because in 2 weeks there will be a solar eclipse in Taurus, which is very stable. It will trine your sun, and you may be sought out as a person with answers or good problem-solving abilities, and that is why you should closely observe what is going on, but not make any comment. You only want to gather the facts right now, Virgo. This would not be a good time for you to try to solve any problem. Wait at least 2 weeks until the end of the month, because I think in May you will be very successful, particularly if you're quiet right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, oh, have you got a lot on your plate? The full moon lunar eclipse 2 days ago was at 25 degrees in your sign, and Mars was there along with the moon. And they were encountering harsh aspects such as squares and oppositions from a lot of other planets. And because there are so many planets in the cardinal signs in harsh aspect, this is setting up pressure that can also be physical pressure. In other words, in nature or in the universe, there can be unusual occurrences or explosions going on because of the pressure of the way these planets are aligned. In your own life, since you are a person who's a very good peacemaker, you may benefit from somebody reviewing a record or some sort of legal document. You may be deciding, quite to everyone's surprise, that you believe that you are right about something and that you have the documentation to prove that. And so you could be stressing your legal rights right now. And you could certainly be correct, but there's a whole lot of other people that don't want to hear that, because if you are right about something, it is possible that other people have been wrong. And for that reason, you need to protect yourself, Libra, because you yourself can be in danger. And that is because a lot of people could sort of lose it right now, and there could be violence, or people could be very impulsive or passionate, and you would not want to make yourself a target, although I think you are a target right now. And that is why you need to be very, very careful. If somebody doesn't like what you're saying, they're apt to bolt and go their own way, and you, I think, would be better off without them, Libra. And so I think that some sort of trouble may eventually ease pressure that you are under and make your life more peaceful, certainly by fall. But for right now, you have to watch everything you say and everything that you do and protect yourself no matter what, Libra. So caution is the word that you need to apply to everything right now in your life if you can. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, remember I said that there are 3 retrograde planets and they all relate to your sign because 2 of them are harshly squaring each other, and they are Mars in Libra, which is squaring Pluto in Capricorn. And that simply means there isn't enough money around, neither for peace or for business or even for war. And since Saturn is also retrograde in your sign, it means there can be a constriction or a contraction of financial assets, not just for you, but for everybody, Scorpio. And I think that what will happen is that the losses will mount. If people do not believe that they need to change and they want to hang on to their staunch opinions right now, there are so many different opinions going on that due to such pressure right now, I think that there can be a horrible fallout from all of that, and that we are not going to recover. And so that means losses will simply mount. Assets will shrink in value. And so it's really a good idea not to hold on to the past right now. And for people who are accountable, they need to pay up, or they hopefully need to cease and desist. I don't think a warning shot is coming across your bow, but you may be a person who's quite willing to fire one if it needs to be, because your sign also rules justice. And so justice does need to be done, whether it's financial justice or legal justice, it does need to be done. And you might be involved in that. Even if you don't want to be, it can be that through your experience and authority, you're qualified to judge and to administer justice right now. So that may be a burden you have to bear right now, Scorpio. Do your best. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time that is wonderful for you, because I think that if there is some sort of rebellion or breakup, it will leave an opening for you, Sagittarius. And the reason why is that there's so much pressure in the cardinal signs, and one of them is Aries. And so the Sun, Mercury, and Uranus in Aries are all trining your sun sign, Sagittarius. That certainly means that you could go on a trip very quickly, but I also think it means there can suddenly be an opening for you, particularly if somebody decides to leave suddenly, or is made to leave suddenly. And that opening could certainly enhance your prospects, Sagittarius, so you could get a little bit lucky right now. However, it would upset your home life, or it would upset your routine or schedule, because Venus and Neptune in Pisces are squaring your sun. So you can't have it both ways right now, Sagittarius. You'll have to choose if you want to go on a new opportunity and follow up on that, or if you just want to keep things the way they are and miss a good opportunity. It's up to you to decide, Sagittarius. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, I think you're definitely going to feel the fallout from this lunar eclipse, because Mars and the Moon were squaring your sun sign where you have Pluto. Jupiter was opposing Pluto in your sign exactly, and the 3 planets in Aries, the Sun, Uranus, and Mercury, are also squaring your sun. So you are going to have to decide some issue that has to do with financial prospects or money, and that is because Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio, and since Pluto is in your sign and it is squaring that Mars in Libra where the full moon was, it means that there can be a financial issue that can be highlighted right now connected to some sort of legal documentation or legal step. And you're going to have to decide whether you want to break that up, or whether you want to pay something off, or whether you're just not making enough money and you need to go somewhere else and start over again. Whatever it is, Capricorn, it's going to be a hard decision for you to make, and I don't think it will be conclusive at this time. Everyone is going to have to make adjustments because of the harsh reality of this lunar eclipse on our feelings as well as on the law and on all partnership issues. And so no matter what your values are, I don't think that they're necessarily being threatened, but I do think you have to make some sort of decision about what you want to do as far as a financial future is concerned and what your financial liabilities are in relationship to that. So you need to think things over real carefully right now, Capricorn. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when I think you too can benefit from that lunar eclipse because Mars and the Moon in Libra were trining your sun sign. And so if there is a breakup or there is some sort of legal dispute or the cancellation of a contract, that could open up an avenue for you to explore, Aquarius, and I think you should. Or it can bring sort of trouble to the fore, and by illuminating a troubled prospect, you may be able to solve that problem once it is all clearly defined. So that's good. So maybe you can clear some things up right now. With 3 retrograde planets, it's always better to go back and tie up loose ends or finish things. And there is some financial matter that needs to be wrapped up in your life, Aquarius, and you really need to decide who your partners are going to be in the future, because I don't think you want all of them that you've had. And so there could be that a breakup does benefit you, but it's got to get underway or it's got to get concluded, and that is what I think you'll be in the process of. And there won't be enough money right now, but you do have the opportunity to change your future if you want to, Aquarius, and I wouldn't waste a minute. I think you need to sort of get on it. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is certainly a time when you can see somebody wanting to break away and make a new start, or somebody who wants to be arrogant and do everything all their own way, and they are going to run into a lot of trouble if they try that. And so you may be the witness to some unusual event or some surprising change in someone else's life right now. And if I were you, I'd keep real quiet. You can keep your eyes and ears open, but don't make any comments right now, Pisces, because there is the possibility that you can build on a future dream of your own very, very quietly. But I think if you advertise that, other people will be jealous. And that's why you've sort of got to mind your own business and keep your plans to yourself right now and let things settle down a little bit, because they're too volatile right now. No one can go back to the way things used to be. We're all going to have to make adjustments. I just hope that you do yours in a real quiet way, Pisces. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see our show anytime you want at your convenience on our website, starborninstitute.org, and you can, if you log on to that website and subscribe to it, we can send it to you as soon as I get it uploaded and ready to go. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you next week, and be careful. Bye.